Hey everyone at Antioch and those that are joining us on Facebook. We are just excited to be with you today and just to give you a quick thought and devotional today, just kind of in the midst of everybody maybe being at home, stuck at home with family, or maybe you're at work, wherever you're at. We just want to kind of give you a quick thought. And we're going to really look at a passage of scripture in the book of Mark that it's Jesus and the disciples. They had crowds following him, and he had been teaching, and we're going to look at that in a second. But as we're kind of in the midst of this crazy time on earth, really kind of different than anything we've ever faced in our lifetime, right? And I'm sure others. It's just a weird time, unprecedented times on earth. We just wanted to encourage you today through this thought. So we're going to read here in Mark 4 real quick, and we'll get into some of the content. So it says, "As evening came, Jesus said to his disciples, 'Let's cross to the other side of the lake.' So they took Jesus in the boat and started out, leaving the crowds behind, although other boats followed. But soon a fierce storm came up. High waves were breaking into the boat, and it began to fill with water. Jesus was sleeping at the back of the boat with his head on a cushion. The disciples woke him up shouting, 'Teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown?'" Boy, they're worried, right? "When Jesus woke up, he rebuked the wind and said to the waves, 'Silence, be still.' Suddenly the wind stopped and there was a great calm. Then he asked them, 'Why are you afraid? Do you have no faith?' The disciples were absolutely terrified. They said, 'Who is this man?' They asked each other. 'Even the wind and the waves obey him.'" Wow, what a story.
Yeah.
You know, if you spent any time around church very much in your life, you've probably heard this story, but I think it's extremely relevant to us today as there's this time of chaos, a storm in a lot of people's minds. You know, I think of there's probably people kind of wondering what's going to happen with their job, and you know, you've got people in certain avenues of work where they're out of work totally right now, and they're panicking, and how are they going to pay their bills? It's chaos, right? Now, I think personally, what is my response in a chaotic time? I lose all sense of patience. I'm not a very patient person.
Yeah.
What about you guys? What is something that maybe when things are going terrible, like what's the first thing that happens to you?
I turn into like a nervous Nelly. Like that's me. I'm always like, and then I have to go, okay, let's think.
Yeah.
Let's get some perspective. And I can calm myself down.
Yeah.
But I can let myself get really wrapped up.
Right.
Yeah. I think for me, it's I've become kind of frozen. Like when you're in the unknown and everything's upside down, you don't know if you should make this decision or this decision, and so sometimes you don't decide, and you just kind of become frozen in your footsteps instead of continuing to live out your life.
Yeah.
I know that's kind of where it hits me.
Yeah, I totally understand. Like I said, for me, it's patience. Like, I don't lose patience necessarily regarding a scenario. It's just in everything else in my life. You can ask my wife. I lose my patience. So that's kind of for me. And maybe you have a similar story when things are going wrong, you tend to react a certain way. And we just have to remember that we have a God that can calm the storm. I mean, he is sleeping through the storm. The disciples are on the ship panicking, scared for their lives. I mean, they question God. God, are you just going to let us drown? Don't you care?
Yeah.
And you may be in the middle of the storm. God, don't you care that, you know what, I'm out of work right now. How am I going to pay my bills? God, don't you care about this, about that? And in the midst of those really troubling times, it's easy to do those things.
Yeah.
But what does God do? He wakes up and just says, "Peace, be still. Silence, be still."
Yeah.
Um,
What struck me is like how this all started. Jesus said to his disciples, "Let's go to the other side."
Yeah.
Now Jesus is God. He's all knowing. Surely he knew.
yeah.
He knew what was coming their way.
I wonder if when he fell asleep, he had like a half smile on
Yeah.
his face. Because he's like,
Like-
I'm about to get woken up.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be in panic.
And so he could have easily said, "Hey guys, we're going to wait out the storm. There's a storm coming. We're gonna wait it out." But he says, "No, let's go ahead and cross right through the center of it." And kind of reminds me of the Song of David. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because you're with me. Jesus didn't send them alone. He went through it with them.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. And again, he, like you said, he probably knew it was coming, right? I mean, so he leads us through these times, right? He knows these storms are coming. He leads us through them. There is that light at the end of the tunnel. Now, you may be hearing this and you're in the midst of what's going on in our world and you're thinking, okay, yes, the coronavirus is serious. Yes, people are getting sick, but I'm calm. Like, I'm not that worried about it. You know what? My job is steady. The kids are at home. We're having a great time together. I promise you there are people out there panicking, and you can be maybe that calm to them. Maybe the Lord can use you to just to show some light into their life, speak some life into their chaotic world, and to show God's love in that way. And so that's how we would certainly encourage you to do, is that, there's kind of these two sets of people. Maybe you're in the middle of the storm. You're in the middle of the panic. There's a lot of questions. Trust that the Lord has control. He led you through to this, and He'll lead you through it. And then maybe you are already calm in this scenario. Things are still looking good in your life. Be the calm to others around you. So we just are so glad that you've joined us. Thanks for being here.
See you.
Bye, guys.